Hi, I'm Kathy Holmes, a student at Mckendree, working on my bachelor's. My capstone project I chose to work on was to educate my peers that I work with about taking our vital signs when we do our blood transfusions. We do a lot of blood transfusions on our floor because I work a surgical floor, and we were finding when we were doing our quality assurance checks that our vital signs were not being recorded and monitored at the 15-minute mark, again at the hourly mark, and then once again when we were finished. So I came up with a PowerPoint, and I don't know if you'll be able to really see it on here. But basically, it just explains that the main objective of the presentation was to improve our vital sign assessments on patients receiving blood transfusions. Basically, it talked about in EPIC how we need to assure that the order is correct, and we would do that by checking on the Cardex in the EPIC system, making sure we had our consent signed, making sure that the time frame of the consent had not expired, and what we needed to do on how to release that blood and get it hung in a timely fashion. The reason why I chose this subject was I worked with my preceptor, Katie, who is my team leader, and we had found through running audits that our vital signs were not being carried over at the 15-minute mark, again at the hour mark, and again when they were finished. Out of 18 nurses on our floor that had run blood, only one had 100%. Embarrassed to say that my name was right at the top of the list. So it was definitely an area of improvement that we needed. So I chose to talk to my unit of nurses on a Friday at a unit practice council meeting. However, we had visitors come. By visitors, I mean JACO. So I was not able to do my presentation directly to my peers. Coincidentally, I would be helping out with one of the team leaders who has come up with a program for our future nurses, our graduate nurses. We have a program called the Futures, and I was running the meeting essentially that day. We had each department in the hospital come in and speak to a group of nurses. We had 8 GNs there, and we basically spoke to them. Each team leader would come in and kind of give a little synopsis of what their department does. Pharmacy came in and spoke. The diabetic educator came in and spoke. Stroke resources, they came in and spoke. Everyone came in and probably spoke for about a half hour or so. So word got around that JACO was in the building, and our surgical team, our surgical leaders were not going to be able to come in because they chose to start in the surgery and procedure center. So therefore, I, who was kind of sort of prepared because I had done my PowerPoint and I had our tip sheet made out, I ended up having to give my presentation to 8 of the graduate nurses that were there for their Futures program day. So it worked out pretty well. I didn't have a lot of time to get nervous about it, like for some reason I am right now, and I have no idea why. Things that I probably would have changed, well, obviously would have been to have my little stick there so I could have plugged my PowerPoint in, because we did have a computer set up, even though we had problems with it off and on all day. I think I did pretty good on my presentation, though, considering I felt as though I was running it by the seat of my pants, but I think I did pretty well. The group that I presented to had some good questions. A lot of them being new nurses. They've basically been on the floor for 3 weeks. So some of them didn't know where to go in Epic. And I could show them on the computer. Afterwards, we were able to pull up the computer. So I showed them where to go on our Epic system and in the Cardex to look for the orders. Um, Kind of told them a few stories of things that happened to me on my first couple days on the floor, and how, hanging blood was just kind of like the thing that seemed to be done on our floor all the time. And two of the nurses actually work my floor. They both work nights though, so if they would hang blood, it would be a rarity, but they may have to start it some morning. So they had a lot of good questions, so I think that went really well. Um, how this has probably improved my practice, I would say, as a whole, following my preceptors around that I chose to follow around, it's definitely opened my eyes to their world. And, those house supervisors have to basically know everything that's going on with every single patient on every floor, of who's coming and going and why haven't they came and when are they going and where are they going, and if they didn't go, why. So it's been very interesting. It's been an interesting learning. It was something I was kind of dreading, I'm not going to lie. But after doing it, granted it was long, but I needed, the way my work schedule is, just to get it out of the way. So it wasn't quite 12-hour days, but I did it and it's over with, and now I can just put it behind me. But it was a good learning experience. Um, it makes me pretty much think that I don't want to go into management at this time. Um, I don't know, maybe down the road. I really, truth be told, I enjoyed actually speaking with the future nurses, the future program nurses. Um, I don't know, I don't think I will go on to get my master's to teach, but I know I could teach like on a maybe a clinical skill set, and I think I would really enjoy that. But I think it went pretty well. So thanks for your time and your attention, and good luck to everybody.